Boom. Is it live? Okay, let me pull this up. This is the shit we gotta be learning. I gotta have a way to communicate with you guys besides just this. Because this overlay doesn't show YouTube and Twitch, it just shows Twitch. Multiple stream. Description. Hey, ¿qué pasa, bro? Best nerd. Si, senor. Bro, studying is not my favorite. I go like this, and I'm reading all of this stuff. This is the glossary, and I got my practice final exam. Question 1, it says all this shit, and I go A, B, C, D, and I go to the answer key, and it tells me. It's B, statement is false. Because the DBPR has 30 days to check for errors and omissions to send the applicant a notice of insufficiency. So yeah, bro. But how you doing? You good? Okay, you're gonna take a shit, then a shower. It's better to do it in that order, because if you did a shower, then took a shit, you would have to take a shower again. What's going on with your house, dude? Did you you move? You move in there yet? Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know if I'm doing the dude, you should do it. That way you get donations. I gotta figure out. Alright. Guess I can leave this here so I can read the chat as it goes along. See if there is any chat on YouTube. No, not yet. They approve it. Well, I mean, that's good, dude, that they got it approved. Maybe before the year is over, you'll be in your house. Maybe it's just taking some time. Hopefully sooner rather than later, right? That's what I'm talking about, bro. Alright, so let me go here and type something on one of these other accounts. I'm trying to figure out how I can read both Twitch and YouTube comments while I'm streaming. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Let me click on this. Let me say my wife's account, hello. Alright, so it didn't show up like that. Go back. I want to update my picture for this stream too. YouTube, edit. Yeah, it's the picture that I want. Save. Let me go to a different page. My channel. If I click on my own stream, I don't edit video. I want to change the thumbnail. There we go. Upload a new thumbnail. We're gonna do this one. Perfect. Save. see. It's still showing that screen. Change. I guess I could do this one. No. Like this one. It's not made for kids. Let me add some tags. Real estate. Brokers exam. Brokers license. Studying. Music study. Alright. Say hello. Second time streaming. I'm not an expert real estate. Come learn with me. Alright, cool. Save. Did it work? I think it's just fucking frozen. Save. Changes saved. Alright, looks like we're in business, guys. I got that ready to go. Alright, answer key. Let me see if Jorge was still talking. Alright, my friend might have left. Okay. Alright, cool. So it shows both over here. Alright, I might be delayed a little bit with replying to comments, so I apologize, but I'll do my best. Alright. Unless I could pull it up right here. Hello. Alright, cool. I'll leave this one here. So I'm going to put down here. So that way I could focus. I got comments on my phone which I can read. I wish this stream chat overlay would show both. I don't know why it doesn't. I don't have anybody, nobody's watching yet, so let me try and edit this. Alert, library. No, I don't want this. The home page. Themes, store. No, that's not it. Go to hotkeys. Because I know it's 7. Toggle in-game overlay. So that's what I had to figure out. The settings for in-game overlay. Doesn't say if it's both. Okay. So, what's up, guys? What I'm trying to do right now is figure out how in Streamlabs I can overlay and read Twitch and YouTube comments at the same time, because I'm streaming to both of them. But right now it's only showing Twitch when Like here, I'll show you for example. This is Streamlabs. I minus Streamlabs. Alright, so now this is my desktop. And this is Google. Alright, so this is the answer key, practice exam, and this is glossary for all the terms for real estate. So over here, if I hit my hotkey is number 7 on the right column on my screen, not on your screen, I can see the chat, what's going on, but it only shows Twitch. And it's got a low opacity, so I can literally do all this and just have that in the background and see when someone. So it might be a little bit of a delay. I apologize for that, but let's just jump into it. Let me write that here. Right into studying. Maybe there's an app for it. Let me see. Play Store, YouTube, Stream, Chat. Let me just try downloading the Streamlabs app. Alright, let me start studying some of this. So last time I did this, I got all the way to question number 6. Let's jump into question 7. When a broker receives an earnest money deposit from a buyer, I do know this one. The broker, A, must deposit, how do I get rid of this? So when a broker receives earnest money deposit from the buyer, the broker, A, must deposit funds into his escrow account by the end of the next business period. B, is responsible if that check is dishonored even if he is made in timely deposit. C, may accept it in a form of a post-dated check with seller's approval. Or D, may never accept a post-dated check because it's the legal status in Florida. Okay, I don't think it's D. I believe the answer is C. So when a broker receives an earnest money deposit from a buyer, the broker may accept it in the form of a post-dated check with the seller's approval. So I'm going to say my answer will be B. What the fuck? Oh, I can't highlight the B. Alright, I would say B. So we can go over here. It's your key. Oh, okay. This is the practice exam. 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Just started this. Scroll down. Okay, answer key for the final. Alright, I don't want to scroll anymore because it's going to go below. So all the way at the bottom, it's going to give us our answer. It says the answer is C. I was right. May accept the form of post-dated check with the seller's approval. Damn, I already saw the answer for B. Alright, this is going to be difficult. Scrolled at the bottom. Okay, so B, the answer is suit for compensatory damages. Let's just go back to there and we'll just read what this is. An owner agreed to sell his restaurant property. The buyer gave the broker an earnest money deposit of $4,000. One day before closing, the buyer told the broker she had found another property and would be closing the transaction. The owner lost more than $12,000 because of the default. What remedy would best compensate the owner? Alright, so obviously we already saw the answer, which was B, which is suit for compensatory damages. So let's reread that again because it is a big question, and I don't want to just Hold on, I'm logging into my Streamlabs right now. That way I can hopefully get a better setup as far as being able to read the chat and whatnot. Logging in now. Next, alert box, done. Permission, enable, allow. What the fuck? I already have Prime. What the hell, guy? Alright, so I'm trying to set it up, this app on my phone called Buddy Mode. Subs is cool. Damn, this is not helping me as best as I was hoping it would. Alright, I'm gonna watch some videos tomorrow or later tonight about how to make this freaking perfect and good to go. But for now, I think it'll be best if I just pull it up. In real time. Alright. Alright, sorry about that. So let's get back to this. So an owner agreed to sell his restaurant property. So let's say I own a restaurant and I want to sell it. The buyer of my restaurant gave the broker an earnest money deposit. Let's see if that's in the glossary. So we know what these terms mean. Earnest. It does not seem to be. Very convenient. Oh yeah, it is. I'm silly. All right. So the earnest money deposit. Earnest money deposit is. That's highlighter on. Money or property put up by the buyer as good faith and as security for the performance of the real estate contract. So it's a good faith deposit. Gotcha. So the buyer puts up a good faith deposit, which is known as earnest money deposit, of $4,000. One day before closing, the buyer told the broker she had found another property, doesn't want to move forward with my restaurant. So the owner lost more than $12,000 because of the default, which is terrible. So what remedy would best compensate the owner? And the answer was B, to suit for compensatory damages. Compensatory. Did I spell it right? Compensatory. Oh shit, let me move this over a little bit so you can see. So compensatory. Intended to recompensate someone for his experienced loss, suffering, injury. Okay. Cool. Alright, next question. I'm going to try and do like 3 at a time. That way I don't have to scroll and go one at a time, so bear with me. Don't be shy. Send a comment. We could chit-chat about whatever. Now, number 9 is about FHA, which is Federal Housing Administration. Mr. It's condominium mortgages loan in a section. Alright, this is just one of those that I just had to remember. and I think it's B or C. If I gun to my head how to pick one, I would go with B, 234C, but it could be C. So let's get those down. Just need a little notepad for assistance so I remember. Alright. With that one, we're going to go with B. Number 10. A veteran can have his previously used entitlement restored to buy another home with the Department of Veterans Administration, VA loan, if he, A, has had more than 3 VA loans in the past, B, agrees to make at least a 20% down payment on a new home, C, has paid off a previous loan and sold the original house, or D, fought in World War II or in the Korean War. Okay. So usually VA loans, you don't have to leave any down payment, I've heard, and they usually have very low interest rates. I know it's not D, fought in World War II, Korea War, because, come on. Number C, has paid off previous loan, sold the original one. Alright, I'm going to go with B or C. A veteran can have his previously used entitlement restored to buy another home with the Department of Veterans Administration. Alright, let's go with... I'm going to go with B because why not allow them to buy multiple houses? You know, for their first house, no down payment, but for houses after that, I'm going to say that it's 20% down payment. So to go 10, I'm going to put B. And if I'm wrong, we're going to figure out why I'm wrong, and we're going to correct it. Okay, question 11. Which is false about adjustable rate mortgages? Alright, so what we could do first is go to the glossary. Because we're going to figure out exactly what an adjustable rate mortgage is. Oh, the ARM. Here we go, the ARM. Adjustable rate mortgage, the ARM. A mortgage loan program that allows the lender to change the interest rate based on a published index that is beyond the lender's control. Okay, so it's a mortgage loan program that allows the lender, which is the bank, to change the interest rate based on a, what is this, published index that is beyond the lender's control. Okay, so let's go back to the question. Which is false about adjustable rate mortgages? Is it A, that the index changes periodically, B, the rate is calculated by adding the margin to the index? This is one of those questions I'm not going to get. C, it is unpopular because it has a negative moralization of principle, or D, the margin remains constant throughout the loan period. I have no idea what this answer is, adjustable rate mortgages. I feel like it's simpler than I'm making it. I just read the definition of adjustable rate mortgage, and that did not help with these answers. Alright, so 11, I'm just going to take the L. I'm going to write L, and since 12 is popping out, let's do 12. Question 12 is, what type of mortgage encumbers more than one parcel of property? Blanket, package, participation, or purchase money? I feel like it's either A or C, but my instinct is saying A, but I could be wrong. Alright, so I wrote down 9 is B, 10 is B, 11 I'm taking the L, 12, 9. Alright, let's go to the answer key. Number 9, I got it right, is B, 234C. Okay, so it is, let me go over here. So I can write these in, you know what I'm saying? Sorry for the yawns. I'm not really great at studying. I'm not good at test taking, so bear with me. It's one of the reasons why I have this. 11 is A. Thank you, Big. Let's see. The index changes periodically. Let's go to the answer key. No, man, it's C. It's C. It says the answer is it is unpopular because it has a negative amortization of the principal. That's right, man. I got it wrong too. It's all good. What was the first video that you saw of mine, Big? Was it this one or was it a different one? Let me know, let me know. Alright, so we should put these into a notebook, like Evernote, because this I didn't get right. We need to learn this one. So it is false because of that. So that means that index changes periodically is true. The rate is calculated by adding the margin to index is true. And the margin remains constant throughout the loan principal. So that's true. Number 12, what type of mortgage encumbers more than one parcel of property? It's A, blanket. My instinct knew it was blanket. I said blanket, and it's blanket. Let's move on to now we're going to do 13 through 16. Okay, so 13. All right, what do we got here? A 57-year-old woman applies for a mortgage loan. The loan officer tells her that because of her age, her income is not likely to continue for as long as the mortgage loan. He suggests that she apply for her credit union instead. Based on this information, the loan officer A, has violated the Fair Housing Act, B, has violated the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, C, is guilty of redlining, and D, has violated the Truth in Lending Act. All right, so it's not C because redlining was made illegal in 1970s. The other ones, FHA, ECOA, and TLA, I think what would be best is we're going to go to the glossary and we're going to look up what all those are, and then we'll find our answer. So I'm going to write those down here. We got the Fair Housing Act, Equal Credit Opportunity Act, and then the Truth in Lending Act. All right, let's check them out. We're going to start with, since we're in the glossary in A, let's go down to the E's. Not there, but here's Fair Housing Act, part of the Civil Rights Act in 1968 that prohibits discrimination against a person based on race, color, religion, nationality. Is age in there? I think that question was not about any of those things, about age. Yes, it's because of her age. So we got to find what that would be. That's the fair, maybe Truth in Lending. Let's go to T's. I mean, that's not here either. You know what? F it. We're going to go with, it's going to be answer A, Fair Housing Act. because even in the definition, it named pretty much everything but age, but I'm sure that act includes age. So for 13, we're going to say A. If you guys think it's a different answer, just put it in the comments, and we're going to see who's right. 14 now. If closing on July 6th, the prepaid interest on a new institutional mortgage covers a period of how many days and is charged to whom? Is it A, 6 days and is charged to the seller, B, 6 days charged to the buyer, C, 26 days charged to the buyer, or D, 57 days charged to the buyer? All right, so if closing on July 6th, the prepaid interest of a new institutional mortgage covers a period of, okay, so I don't know what that is, new institutional mortgage. Let's see if it's in the glossary. We're going new institutional mortgage. Nope, not there. Let's go to I. Institutional advertising. So they have institutional mortgage. So you know what? We're on our own with this question. What do you guys think? Got an answer? All right, I think it is. All right, cool. I do have that up. All right, I'm just gonna go on the whim and say I have no idea. So 14, I'm gonna take the L. Number 15, the closing disclosure. There it is. All right, so closing disclosure. It's a form that replaced the truth in lending disclosure and the HUD 1 settlement statement in 2015. The form must be given to the borrower at least 3 business days before closing. All right, so that might even be in the question. The closing disclosure, A, must be used for real estate transaction in Florida. B, need to be used for federal related transaction. C, consists of 2 pages, the buyer's statement and the seller's statement. Or D, must be used for all real estate transactions covered under the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA requirements. Let's go back into the glossary and read that again. Damn it. Okay, so the answer is basically within this, but I don't know what that is. Form that replaced the truth in lending disclosure, HUD. Okay. I hope when I go to the answer key, it's not just like B. It has a little bit of explanation behind it. I'm going to go with D. Let's say D. Number 16. Which form does the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA, require to be given to borrowers at least 3 days before the closing of a real estate transaction? Alright, so this one is actually A, because when we were reading about closing disclosure, it said that form is required to give at least 3 days before the closing. So 16, I'm going to say A. Let's go to the answer key. So I was right. So 16 at the bottom over here, as you can see. Alright, so 13 is B, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. So that's what's been violated. Let's go back to 13 and read it. Alright, so a 57-year-old woman applies for a mortgage loan. The loan officer tells her that because of her age, her income is not likely to continue as long as the mortgage. He suggests that she apply for the credit union instead. Based on that information, the loan officer has violated the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. let's go to question 14. If the closing is on July 6th, the prepaid interest on a new institutional mortgage covers a period of how many days and is charged of whom? And the answer we got here was C, 26 days. So if the closing is on July 6th, blah, 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 so they have 26 days and charged to the buyer. $15? The answer was D. Okay, so the closing disclosure must be used for all real estate transactions covered under the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. So RESPA requirements. And 16, I put A, and A was the answer. Perfect. Keep these highlighted. Alright, so now we're going to do questions 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Only got one person watching. Live chat. Text myself. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm going back into Streamlabs. Now if you're watching just the regular video, you could fast forward probably a minute or 2 minutes while I'm trying to set this up. And I'll go right back into the content. I'm trying to figure out a solution to this. Makes it a lot easier. Quality of life. Buddy mode. So this one just tells me that. It doesn't tell me the live of what's going on. So this buddy account's not working. Thank you. Let's check this one out. Actually, why don't I do this? Not this comment, but back to my channel. Pull my stream up right here and then move the chat like here. I'll put it like this, and this pretty much where my head is blocking, right? this. Over just a little bit. Alright, that looks great. Now I can minus this and go back to studying. Dang it. Oh, I forgot about that. I gotta basically put this one over here, like this. Then these I gotta blow up big again. Alright, so if you joined the stream, welcome. Don't be shy, put in a comment what was the first video on this channel that you've seen, what book summaries you've seen, what books you like, what do you like to read, things like that. And I'm more than willing to chit chat with you guys. It doesn't have to be just studying this, because honestly some of this material could be very boring, but it is a necessary step to get the broker's license, so that's why we gotta get through it. So the questions we're moving towards is 17, and I saw the answer was B, but it is what it is. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go through question 17 all the way through questions 21, one at a row, and then I'll check my answers. Question 17. The transaction closes on November 15th. The seller is paid $1,800 in annual taxes. The day of closing is charged to the buyer. Using the 365-day method, what's proportion of the closing statement? Alright. I actually like these because they're math, and I love math questions. So let's go to pull up a calculator. This is how we do it. We got $1,800, 16.25, right? Then what we gotta do is we gotta divide that by 365 days a year. So it equals $4.97. Now, closes on the 15th. So in November, in December is 30, November is probably 30. So 31, 30. Minus 15, so it's about 46 days. So let's time this by 46 days. And we got 228. Okay, I had to have been a day or two off. Maybe there's 31 days. So we know that. Okay, so we credit, debits the seller. See, because normally what happens is when someone owns a house, they're paying their mortgage every month. There's a proportion of the mortgage payment that goes towards taxes. There's a portion of the mortgage payment that goes towards insurance. And at the end of the year, the mortgage company will pay for all of it. So basically, the seller has been paying taxes for this amount of years, or this amount of months, and then now the new buyer comes in. So it's going to be I believe a credit to the seller. I'm gonna go with B. I could be wrong. If you think I'm wrong, it's cool. But let's go with that. Number 18. A title insurance company offers to pay a real estate sales associate $50 for each real estate settlement. So RESPA closing transfers to the company. So it's either A, legal if the buyer approves, illegal under restriction Z, prohibited under the RESPA, or legal under the Florida Legislation Act, which prohibits such payments. Okay. 18, I'm taking the L. 19. An owner has a capital gain of $147,000 on a sale of her home. She has owned the property for 3 years. The sale was $325,000. Costs of the sale were $5,000. Fix-up costs were $1,000. Moving costs were $4,000. How much must she pay in capital gains tax on the sale if her normal tax rate is 25%? A, 0. B, 0 if within 2 years she buys and occupies another home with a price equal to or greater than the old residence. C, $34,000, or D, $36,000. Alright, so I guess what, I don't know, 25%, I guess we could take, let's bring up the calculator. I'm going to see if what's in my head will match with any of this, what's going on. Alright, so up here it says $147,000, and it was $5,000 worth of expenses, fix up and moving cost. So maybe 25% of that. 35. No, but that's not the right answer. What is 147 times 0.25, 25%? Okay, so if she's getting taxed at 25%, then it's going to be D. So F it. I'm going to go with D. Alright, question 20. When an improved investment property is sold, the tax rate on depreciation has been previously deducted is generally A, 15% for a 25% tax rate, taxpayers are 5%, or 50% tax rate, taxpayer. Holy crap. Let me say that one more time. 15% for a 25% tax rate taxpayer, or 5% for a 15% tax rate taxpayer. I love these tests. They're amazing. Okay. Or B, 25%, C, 28%, or D, the same as the taxpayer marginal tax rate. I'm going to go with D. Did I say it's the same? Question 21. An investor purchases an office building for $700,000. He pays $4,000 for an appraisal, $1,000 for survey, $30,000 for his broker's commission, and $3,000 for title insurance. So that'll be 5, 35, 38. The appraisal indicated that the total property value was $700,000, and the land was worth $140,000. What is the allowed depreciation deduction per year? Alright. With this one, I'm going to take the L2. Let's just go to the answer key. I'm sick of it. Starting with question 17. The answer is B. I was right. I knew it. So 17, the answer is B. Credit to the seller, debit the buyer. Because the seller's already paid most of the year's worth of taxes. So the buyer just has to pay the 233.87 because the buyer moved in on November 14th. So the buyer is responsible for the remainder of the taxes from the 15th of November to December 31. Ooh, my God. Real estate tests. Gotta love it. Super freaking technical. Let me pull this back up. Share. I guess I could put it on Facebook. F it. Gotta bring some more people to the stream, people. No, it's not gonna allow me to go there. Dang it. Alright, I'm gonna do a big one tomorrow. I'm gonna stream probably for another 30 minutes to an hour today. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a big stream. Maybe 2.5 hours. Alright, let's get back to this. So, a title insurance company offers to pay real estate sales associate $50 for each real estate settlement. Let me type something real quick. If you let's join. Say hello. Boom. Alright, cool. So now it's popping up on my screen, I can see it. Alright, hello. So I'm not an expert with real estate at all. I'm trying to learn this. I'm not a good test taker. This type of information is honestly a little kind of boring. You know, when you're on the field, some of this stuff might come up. A lot of it probably won't. I've had my real estate license for 6 years, not selling houses, but doing resort sales, and I haven't needed to use any of this information. So this is, some of it's coming back to me, but a lot of it's completely foreign because I got my real estate license in 2014. So, and from then to now, all that stuff, all that information is, I would say 90% of it gone over my head. But it's okay, you can always relearn it. And if you know anything about real estate, if you've worked in real estate, comment it, let me know. Let's have a little discussion. But right now we're on question 18, which is, a title insurance company offers to pay a real estate sales associate $50 for each real estate settlement. Procedures Act. I feel like this question is worded weird. Closing, she refers to the company. This is, and the answer we saw was C, is prohibited under the RESPA. And the RESPA is, of course, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. Let's see if it's in the glossary. It is, right here. It's basically a federal statute relating to the fair disclosure of closing costs in a real estate transaction. Okay. Next question. Also, fun fact, when I took my real estate exam in 2014, the first time I took the state exam, I failed it. I passed it my second time though. And when you pass it, it doesn't give you the score, it just says pass. When I saw it, I was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to do this again. Or pay the $35. If you fail, they give you the exact amount that you got, which was like a 68. You need like a 75. Antonio, what's up, man? Thank you so much for joining and saying what's up, man. I appreciate that. Some people join in, they're a little bit shy, but that's okay. What was the first video of mine that you may have saw? If you remember, if you don't, throw it up there and I'll respond. But let's get the answer to question 19. So an owner has a capital gain of 147,000. So capital gain is basically when you buy a house, it goes up in value, you sell it for more than you paid for it, and the capital gains is basically the profit you made off of that. And pretty much everyone that buys houses has mortgages and they pay interest on it, so it's kind of interesting how they refer to things as capital gains when some people pay a lot of money in interest and sometimes that doesn't get accounted for. But I get it because it's between you and the mortgage company, not between you and the real estate market. But anyways, so this person has owned the property for 3 years. The price sale was $325,000. Costs of the sale were $5,000. Qualified fix-up costs were $1,000, and the moving costs were $4,000. So how much is she paying capital gains tax on the sale if the normal tax rate is 25%? So 25% of 147,000 was D, 36,750. But I took that and minus those, but I guess those don't get it counted for. Let's see what the answer is. Wow, the answer is 0, A. Hey, even better, good for her. Let's go in the glossary and check out capital gains, see if there's any further info on that. That might be of value. The capital gain, the profits made on a sale of a capital asset such as real property. Okay. Not much to go further into this question, so we can go next. Question 20. When an improved investment property is sold, the tax rate on depreciation that has been previously deducted is generally. Now, A was, when I first read it, an absolute tongue twister because I was like half yawning when I'm reading this freaking answer, and it's a lot of saying percent, tax, percent, tax. 50% for a 25% tax rate taxpayer, or 5% for a 15% taxpayer, or tax rate taxpayer. Love that. Please tell me that's not the answer. 20 answer is, thank God, 25. Okay. So when an improved investment property is sold, the tax rate on depreciation that has been previously deducted is generally 25%. This one, I'm going to retype in my Evernote so it sticks a little bit better. So, when an improved investment property is sold, the tax rate on depreciation previously deducted is generally 25%. Alright, cool. Alright, moving on. Next question. Question 21. An investor purchases an office building for $700,000. He pays $4,000 in appraisals, $1,000 in survey, $30,000 for his broker's commission, and $3,000 for title insurance. The appraisal indicated that the total property value was $700,000 and land was worth $140,000. What is the allowed depreciation deduction per year? So what is it, 25%? Right? But 25% of 700,000 is 175,000. 21. I don't even know. Let's just go. I wrote down L, so I took the L for it. So 21. The answer is 15,000. I got that. Depreciation deduction. Let's see if we can find something along these lines in the glossary. Alright, I know what depreciation means, which is the loss in value for any reason. Tax purposes, depreciation is deductible expense of an income property. And they're referring to in the glossary that a depreciation is a loss in value for any reason. And for tax per depreciation is deductible expense. I really don't know how I got to that answer. What do you guys think? Any thoughts on why answer 21 is answer 21? Alright, I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be back in 1 second. Figure why question 21 is answer B. Alright, I'll be right back. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Nothing? And you guys were able to figure out question 21? Because we got the answer, but I'm trying to figure out like how we get the answer. That's what's confusing me. Like where do I input the math to figure that out? But it's okay. I think we should just move on. When I come back to it, we'll address it. But I'm gonna make a note of it on the back. Question 21. I'm making a list. checklist for questions that I need further explanation for. So when I go back later, because this one's got 100 questions, so if I get 15, 16, 20, 30 of these questions that even after I get the answer, I'm still kind of confused, I'm going to go through all the units to get the exact answer, so that way I know it. But let's move on. We're going to do now questions 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. We're going to do these next 5 questions all in a row, starting with this one. Which type of real property does not allow the owner to deduct depreciation for federal tax purposes? So A, a residential apartment building, B, the commercial store operating as a trade or business, C, the business office as a home builder, or D, a home builder's inventory of unsold homes. What do you think it is? You guys know? Just put what you think. Give me your best guess. So it's going to be a property does not allow the owner to deduct depreciation. So it means, I guess normally with 3 out of these, you can deduct it. But 1 out of these, you cannot deduct depreciation for federal tax purposes. I'm going to go with B. I don't think I'm right, but I'm going to go with B. Just give us a guess. 23. The maximum long-term capital gain on property sold by a taxpayer in the 25% bracket who earns less than $400,000 in ordinary income is 12%, 50%, 25%, or 28%. Okay. Maybe 15. I'll go with B. Maybe 15%. I don't think it's one of the higher ones, because it's in a bracket earning less than 400,000. All right, so 24. Which would not qualify as a like-kind exchange of property, allowing the investor to defer the gain on disposition? Question 24, you're getting the L, because guess what? I said those words, but it didn't register in my head. I'll say it one more time, but I'll move on to the next question. Which would not qualify as a like-kind exchange of property, allowing the investor to defer the gain on disposition? Okay, A, office building for vacant land, hotel for apartment property, office building for personal residence, or D, industry property for a shopping center. Next question. We're going to go back to that. We got to do 25 and 26. So question 25. A 10-year lease requires a tenant to pay $4,000 per month, as well as taxes, insurance, and maintenance on the building. What type of lease is this? Maybe a terrible lease. That's a high freaking lease. $4,000 a month? 10 years? Is that the contract? 10 years? Usually it's like a year, then you go month to month. I mean, that's what I do when I was renting. Gross net participation expense stop. Let's go to the glossary, shall we? Let's go to the glossary and see what type of leases we can look up. Lease purchase agreement, lease option contract, and that's it. Gross net participation. I don't think it's expense stop. Participation net and gross. Net lease. Alright, so a net lease, let's highlight this right now. A lease that requires tenant to pay for specific operating expenses of the building, such as taxes, maintenance, and insurance. This allows landlord to effectively keep all the rent paid by the tenant because there's no other option. So a net lease is great for a landlord. That sounds incredible, provided that, of course, the tenant pays, because some people are landlords and their tenants don't pay. And some states have laws that protect the tenants. Some will argue a little bit more than they should, and the landlord gets the bill at the end of the day. But that's great. If they're paying and they like it and they respect the property, they keep the value up, net lease is the way to go if you are the landlord. That is amazing. So we know our answer. Question 25. We know the answer. Now, do you know the answer? Gross net participation? I'm staring right here at the comments thing. I want to see what you guys think. Don't want to. Okay, let me answer. B. Question 26. We're going to do this, and we're going to go to the answer key. 26. A developer owns an office building that is encumbered by a mortgage. He leases 10,000 square feet to a tenant for 10 years at a very attractive rate. 6 months later, the bank forecloses on the mortgage and ends up as the property owner. What is the status of the tenant's lease? Is it A, the bank is subject to the lease terms? B, the bank is subject to the lease for a maximum of 1 year after the foreclosure? C, the bank is subjected to the lease for a maximum of 6 months after foreclosure? Or D, the bank may terminate the tenant's lease? I don't think the bank can just terminate the lease. I think that the tenant does have some type of rights. I'm going to go with C. Could be wrong, but I'm going to go with C. It makes sense for me. 6 months, it seems reasonable. Answer key. Wow. So for 26, it's actually D. They may terminate it at any time. That's surprising. But it's the correct answer, so it's not surprising if it's the right answer. So that means, let me read the question, and I'll redo the answer for you guys. So the developer owns an office building that is encumbered by a mortgage. He leases 10,000 square feet to a tenant for 10 years at a very attractive rate. 6 months later, the bank forecloses on the mortgage and ends up as the property owner. So now the bank owns it. So what's the status of the tenant's lease? Well, sucks for him because the bank can terminate the tenant's lease. 25, I already knew what it was. It was net because we looked up what net lease is. And a net lease is when the tenant pays for other expenses besides just rent. They pay for maintenance on the property, taxes, insurance, upkeep, obviously utility bills. Question 24. Which would not qualify as a like-kind exchange of property, allowing the investor to defer the gain on disposition? The answer was C. The answer is the office building for personal residence. So an office building for personal residence will not qualify as a like-kind exchange of property, allowing the investor to defer on gain on disposition. Because it's an office, but they're living there. It's not just business. 23, I was right. I saw it was 15. 15%, I got that correct. So the maximum long-term capital gain property sold in the 25% bracket who earns less than 400,000 is 15. Okay, 22 was D. Alright, so while we're at it, I'm going to go through all the ones up here and redo them. Yellow, yellow, I hope this freaking app saves all this. That would be pretty cool. All my highlights. Alright, let's go through them one more time. One is 26,000. License purchases may. BDB. Okay, so this is a licensed personal assistant may be employed by a sales associate, but must be paid commissions by the firm's broker. It's true. Well, only a broker can pay commission to the employees under the broker's firm. A sales associate hangs their license with the broker, so they can hire them as assistant, pay hourly. They can't cut them a commission. This one's D. Market value. Business appraiser, when valuing assets of a going concern, should be market value. Just double checked. D. Market value. So a business appraiser calculates a company's current ratio by, the answer is B, dividing current assets by current liabilities. So assets up top slash current liabilities. That's going to be the company's current ratio. 5. What type of ownership allows property to be inherited? A. Tenancy and severalty, and tenancy in common. 6 DC. So this one is D. Alright, so out of all this word is basically saying that they have to report. So a buyer agrees to purchase for this amount of money. She gave the broker a good faith deposit. So basically when a broker receives a good faith deposit, they have to report the transaction to the IRS on a 8300 form. So when a broker receives an earnest money, which is a good faith deposit, it's also known as earnest money deposit, from a buyer, the broker is C, may accept it in the form of a post-dated check with seller's approval. 8. An owner agreed to sell his restaurant property. Buyer gives good faith deposit of 4K. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so the answer is suit for compensatory damages. 9 was B. 10, I believe it was B. 10. No, it was C. Tripping. 11 and 12. CA. Alright, we're all caught up. This should save. Next, we're going to be doing questions 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Let's bang out these 6 questions right now. First one. Required maintenance on a property that the owner cannot or will not do is deferred maintenance, reserve for replacements, non-preventative maintenance, and corrective maintenance. Question 28. What is the formula to calculate the equity dividend rate? A. Before tax cash flow divided by the owner's equity. Owner's equity divided by the before net operating income divided by the value. Let's just look it up. The equity dividend rate. It should be in here. What? It's not. Wow. Alright, whatever. We'll find out in a second, eh? Number 29. Positive leverage results when A, loan to value ratio is greater than the break-even ratio. The owner borrows more than the property value. C, annual consent on debt service is less than the overall OAR, I mean. Or D, the annual consent of the debt service is more than the overall rate. Positive leverage. Let's see if that's in glossary. Jesus, no, go back. PP. It's not there. Number 30. The internal rate of return is the discount rate at which the present value of cash flow equals the internal rate of return is the discount rate at which the present value of the cash flow equals. A, price of the property. B, down payment. C, mortgage balance. Or D, the annual debt service. I'm going to say either C, maybe? C or A. And 31 is going to be an owner's associate is defined as a community associate under chapter 436 FS. If it has more than how many units and an annual budget exceeding how much? 50, 10, 50, 100. And then the last one for this section, in a market with many vacancies. A, technical oversupply means potential tenants outnumber units available. So vacancy means availability. So oversupply. Let's just go with D, all the above. Let's check our answers. So 32 is actually C. Okay, so in a market with many vacancies, economic oversupply occurs when available space is priced beyond the means of potential tenants. Which means there's more supply than demand, right? 31. So an owner's associate is defined as a community association under the chapter 468 FS and it has more than how many units and an annual budget exceeding how much? It's going to be B. So as long as there's 10 and it has an annual budget exceeding 100,000. So more than 10 and over 100,000. Number 30. Down payment. So the internal rate of return is the discount rate at which the present value of cash flow equals the down payment. Positive leverage results when the C, annual consent of the debt service is less than the overall rate. Alright, 27 and 28, let's start with this one. 27. A. Deferred maintenance. Let's see if that's in the glossary. I get the definition of that a little bit. And it is not. Alright, why don't I do this? We'll pull up another one. This one's going to be in my search. So out of all the units, if I type in like deferred maintenance, wow. Alright, whatever. Let's go back to this. 28 is A. So what is the formula to calculate the equity dividend rate? So equity dividend rate is before tax cash flow divided by the owner's equity. Before tax cash flow divided by the owner's equity. That's the equity dividend rate. Cool? Alright. Let's move on. Next we're going to do questions 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. We're going to go big all the way to 40. 38, 39, and 40. Just want to let everybody know that if I took this test right now, I would fail. I would. Because a lot of this information is not familiar for me. Just because I've had a real estate license doesn't mean I remember everything that was on the test when I took it 6 years ago. I'm going to relearn it, and that's okay. That way, when I go in to get the broker's test this month, next month, I'm going to pass it. Alright, so I'm going to read through the questions of 35 through 40. If I know the answer, or if I think I know the answer, I'm going to say it. If not, I'm going to skip, go to the next one, and then I'm going to do the answer key and go over all the answers. And we'll highlight 41 for fun. So let's go back up to all the way to 33. Okay, so what mortgage right allows a borrower to prevent a foreclosure by paying the entire balance due to the lender? Maybe equity of redemption. It's probably, I don't know. I don't even want to say A or C because I'm basically guessing at A, B, C, and D. Alright, so next one, 34. The most common tenant complaint in apartment property centers on rent collection, security deposit requirements, maintenance service requests, rent rates. Maybe C. I feel like a lot of people bitch about the security deposit, but it's important. It protects the landlord. I've had a couple times where they should have given it back to us, but they didn't. I'm going to feel like arguing when we should have, but hey. We're all young and dumb at one point. 35. If the required HOA, community disclosure summary, was not provided to the prospective buyer before the buyer executed the purchase contract, the status of the contract is voidable by the buyer. I would say D. 36. When preparing a residential lease agreement, which statement is true regarding the national do not call laws? 38. An investor purchased an apartment building for $1.6 million, encumbered by a 7% mortgage of a balance of $1.2 million. Net operation cost was $170,000. Ooh, equity dividend rate. Remember how we figured that one out? The equity dividend rate. it was the cash flow, before tax cash flow divided by the owner's equity. That's how you find it. Okay. We're going to come back to that one. 39. We got a buyer of a new home for 700,000 basically, assuming the existing mortgage. The owner is probably a new home purchase, a new home money mortgage. Sorry, in the amount of 346,000. The buyer is going to pay cash for the balance. What is the total of the documentary stamp taxes and intangible taxes on the financing? Okay. And 40, a buyer of a new home for 240,000. He will have annual taxes of 5,200 and insurance of 1,200. So that's a total of 6,400. She gets a new 90% conventional mortgage for 30 years at 7.25%. Monthly mortgage insurance premium is 110. The loan constant from the mortgage payment table is 0.006821. Using this information, what will be the new homeowner's total monthly payments of principal, interest, taxes, and insurance? The PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. You know what? I think I could find this one out. We gotta whip out a calculator for this one though. Let me scroll this one so it's at the top. Calculator. So let's go through it. So the buyer of a new home, 240,000. We'll have annual tax of 5,200 and insurance of that. So we're trying to figure out what the principal, interest, and taxes is. The principal, interest, taxes, and insurance will be. So we know that the taxes and the insurance. So boom, what do we figure out? In the PITI, we figured out what the T is and what the I is. So the T and the I, 5,200 plus 1,200 equals 6,400. You divide this by 12 months, and 533 and 3's forever is going to be in the mortgage payment, the T and the I. So I'm going to write this down here for reference. 533.33 and forever. So now we just got to figure out what the P and the I is, the first I, the principal and the insurance. So how do we do that? Clear. Of a new home, they bought it for this. She gets a new 90% conventional mortgage. So with the home purchase of 240,000, you times it by 0.9 to get 90% conventional mortgage. So she's mortgaging 216,000. And this is the monthly mortgage insurance premium is 110, but then the insurance is it says 1,200 a year. Because 110 times 12 is 1,300. So what the heck? What the heck, guys? Oh, that's a mortgage insurance, not homeowner's insurance. Got it. All right, so let's add the 110 to the 533.33 plus 110. So now we're at 643. So 643.33 is the annual taxes, the homeowner's insurance, and the mortgage insurance. All right, so the mortgage payment table. Let me see if I can find this. Nothing there. Mortgage. Nothing. This is like the worst. The fuck? More. Help me find it. It's like the worst search engine ever. Alright, so mortgage payments. And we're looking up this table, because that's mortgage payment table. Figure out where to input that information. Let's go to this unit. Alright. And this was saying for 30 years at 7.72%. Okay, so 7.2, it's right there. And that goes all the way over to 0.0068218. Okay, so it does show up. Great. Alright, so we can use this table to help us find the answer. So multiply that by the okay, let me read this. Assume that the buyer obtained a 30-year loan for 100K, 5% interest rate. When you follow the 5% row across 30 years, you get a monthly constant of that 0.0053682. Multiply that by the 100,000 loan. Okay. Okay, so I know what to do. Pull up our calculator. Clear. We need to take that 0.0068218 and we gotta multiply it by the loan. And the loan wasn't 240,000 because it's 90%. It was, I believe, 214, but I'll double check. Okay. Let's double check. 216. Remember that. 216,000. Okay, so the principal and interest is going to be 1,473 and 50 cents, which we have over here. But we don't need to figure that out. We got to figure out what the total PITI is. And I think they threw this part in here, the monthly mortgage insurance premium, to throw us off because they're not asking what the PITI plus that is. So we're going to do this plus 533.333 whatever, and that's going to be the answer I got. Now if I added 110 to that, it'll be this. So including everything, it should be C. I'm going to go with C. 40, I'm putting C. I'm doing it. What the heck? 40, I'm going to put C. See, I like the math ones. They're fun. 41. A licensed Florida sales associate who wants to apply for a broker's license. That is me. I'm a Florida real estate sales associate who wants to apply for my broker's license. I got the application done. I got the fingerprints, the class. I'm just doing this. So I should know. A, submit proof of U.S. citizenship. B, submit proof of at least 3 closed real estate. Nope, don't need that. C, submit 2 passport nope, don't need that. D, disclose the application social security number on license application. It's either A or D. I remember reading somewhere saying that you either don't need a citizenship, but you need a social security number, or vice versa. So it's A or D. I'm leaning more towards D. Let's go to the answer key. All right, so starting with 41. D, I knew it. No. Alright, so you don't need the citizenship, but you need the social security number for the broker's license. Next. 40. Drum roll. The principal and interest was A, 1400, because I did this over here, 0.0068218. You times that by the mortgage to get the principal and interest. Because we go over here to this table, and it shows you how to get that because it's a 30-year, and it was 7.25%. So that's the number. He times that by the mortgage, and it gives you the monthly payment. And then when I added the taxes and insurance, this and this was 533. Then you add the 110, and boom, we got C. And the answer is C. I was right. Just threw me off because I didn't know about adding that in, the monthly mortgage insurance of 110, because over here it doesn't say, it just says PITI, it doesn't say that as well. But, okay, so now 39 was D, 2700. Well, that was off by a couple cents. D and D. Okay, so they're both D. But we're going to read why. So 39, we got a buyer of a new home for $695,000 is assuming the existing $240,000 mortgage. The owner is providing a new purchase money mortgage in the amount of $346,000, and the buyer will pay cash for the balance. What is the total of the documentary stamp taxes, intangibles tax, and financing? You guys know how to get it? How to get to this answer? If you do, put it in the comments, because I would love to hear some feedback from you guys. And if any of you guys watching do real estate, whether it's selling real estate, investing in real estate, let me know. That's kind of cool. For me, I'm novice, I'm new. I've had my license for 6 years, but it's been for resort sales, so I haven't really needed a lot of this information. I am a homeowner, so I have a little bit of personal experience owning a house. And one reason that I got into real estate was through my grandfather, who's been a general contractor since the 70s, and he's experienced everything. And on this channel, I've actually collaborated with him, and I made that one series, House Flipping 101. None of my experience, all his experience. I just put it into the animation, which was great. So 38, the answer was D, 23.4%. So we're going to read the question again, and we'll figure out why that is the answer. An investor purchased an apartment building for $1.6 million, encumbered by a 7% mortgage with a balance of $1,200. Net operating income was $780,000. The monthly mortgage payment was $8,000, and the depreciation in the first year was $47,000. So the equity dividend rate for this property is 23.4%. Now if we go back over here, equity dividend rate. We're going to read more about it. So you do the net operating income minus mortgage payment 12 months. Alright, F it. 37. We're going to come back to that one. Which statement is true regarding the national do not call laws? I think is it B? Sorry. Alright, so B. So this is a true statement regarding the national do not call laws. Federal law allows real estate licensees to contact a for sale by owner. That's what SOBO means. For sale by owner seller if they have an actual buyer interested in the property. So you can't spam call them, you can't bother them. However, you can call and reach out to them if you got a buyer that's interested. Legally, you're protected. Number 36, when preparing a residential lease agreement, a broker may prepare only the residential lease forms approved by the Florida Supreme Court. Okay, so in Florida, the Supreme Court has to approve the residential lease forms, basically. 35. I got that one right. I remember I guessed it when I first read it. Voidable by the buyer. And it's because the buyer has the right. They need to be disclosed what's in it. And if they weren't disclosed what's in the HOA, then they can legally void the contract. 34 is B. The most common tenant complaint in apartment property centers on maintenance service request. It's kind of surprising, but okay. And this one I got right. 33. What mortgage rights allow a borrower to prevent a foreclosure by paying the entire balance due to the lender? D. Equity of redemption. Right, so we're going to do one final go of questions. We're going to go all the way to question 50, and then we're going to call it for tonight. It's almost 11 o'clock, and I got to get up super early tomorrow. This is good. And then on downtime at work, I'm going to study these 50 questions. We'll do 51. We'll do one for good luck. All right, 42. A licensed real estate sales associate is also an active member of the Florida Bar. She wants to become a broker. She is exempt from which requirement? I'm going to say C. All right, 43. A licensed Florida real estate broker decides to move to Canada. What must the broker do regarding his license? That's a good question, because I've considered that. What if I lived here, but then I decide, let me move out of state, let me move somewhere else, but I still want to continue this as a career? Right, so let's just start going through the answers. F it. 42. The answer is A. So if you're a member of the Florida Bar, you're exempt from the 14-hour continuing education, which is cool. That's something you do every 2 years with the license. So you decide to move to Canada. C, you got to notify the commission of his non-resident status within 60 days of the change of residency. So you move to Canada, you got to notify them within 60 days, basically. 44. B. Which statement is true regarding the National Flood Insurance Program? For homeowners to be eligible to purchase National Flood Insurance, the community must participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. So if you want to be part of it, the whole community's got to be a part of it. It's like all or nothing, pretty much, with this flood insurance. 45 is which statement is false regarding the Interstate Land Sales Fuel Disclosure Act? Let's see if that's in the glossary. The interstate not there. Okay, so developers must register subdivisions of 25 or more lots with the Bureau of Consumer Finance Protection before they can offer unimproved lots in interstate commerce. So that's false. Right, guys? Okay, so this is false regarding the Interstate Land Sales Fuel Disclosure Act. So everything else is true. What statement is true regarding the Interstate Land Sales Fuel Disclosure Act would be B. Developers of 25 or more lots must provide buyers with property reports before signing. Okay. ILSA is intended to prevent fraudulent marketing schemes when land is sold without being seen by purchasers. Okay, that's good. I remember my parents bought land one time, and a lot of it was bought decades ago by someone from a different country. I think it was Cuba. And a lot of it was landlocked. Some of it was landlocked and it was swampland, but it was sold as something else, basically. So the Land Sales Full Disclosure Act prevents shady business like that from happening, or from you buying land that's you're promised one thing and it turns out to be another thing. Alright, so 46. An active New York broker has held a license since 2010. She lives in Jacksonville, Florida, and now wants a real estate broker's license. Which statement applies to her situation? And the answer was BD. She must successfully complete the broker's pre-license course and pass the state broker's license exam. So if you're from another state and you come here, you got to redo the course and you got to retake the exam. It makes sense. As annoying as it is for anybody that is in that situation, but you know, every state has different laws. So, and if you're a broker, you're the head, you're the captain of the ship. So you got to pretty much be familiar with all these things. 47. C. So 47 is going to be, let's read the question, then we'll go over the answer. Mike has recently passed the broker's license exam. Perfect. I'm trying to be like Mike. Now he plans to open his own real estate brokers as a sole proprietorship. Mike intends to name his brokers Mike's Complete Real Estate Services. Which statement is false? Mike must hold an active broker's license in order to deal with the public. That's true. Mike must register his trade name with the DBPR. True. Mike must register, I'm going over D now, skipping C. Mike must register his business address with the DPR. True. All that is true. But it's not true that he has to register his trade name with the Florida Department of State, because that's a different department. The DBPR is responsible for that. DBPR is the Department of Business Professional Regulations. So you go through them, you're Gucci. 48. Jack and Jill form a general partnership real estate brokerage entity. Jill has an active broker's license, but Jack doesn't. Jill is killed in a car accident. Which statement is true regarding their situation? Alright, so Jill is the legal owner, or they both own it, but Jill's the one that has the freaking license. And then it says that she's killed in a car accident. So what's true? D. A new active broker must fill the vacancy within 14 days and register with the DPPR. That is true. Okay, so that means the rest of it will be false. So what matters is true. So if two people own the brokerage, one of them has a license, one of them doesn't, the one with the license passes away, they have 14 days to fill the vacancy, 14 calendar days, and register it with the DBPR. Well, that sucks for Jack in that situation. 49. Jack and Jill form a limited partnership to broker real estate. They are not required to register business. No, they gotta register. C, it's true, they gotta register it with the DBPR. Includes the words limited. No, they gotta include it. And A, file a certificate, limited partnership. I don't know, I would say A or D, but I know when I looked at it, it was D. So they gotta register all limited partnerships with the DBPR. Which statement regarding corporations is false? Oh, excuse me. It's A. So A is not true. Florida Real Estate Commission rules prohibit a not-for-profit corporation from registering as a real estate broker's entity. So that's false. So what's true regarding corporations is corporations are dissolvable by filing a dissolution of corporations with the Division of Corporations. You can do that. Ownership in a corporation is transferred by the purchase and sale of a stock. Yep, true. And D, all the officers and directors of a real estate broker's corporation must be registered with the DBPR. Okay, we know that's true. Alright, I'm going to do this last question. It's only 10:55. Let me bang out, I could do 10 more after this. 10 more. So, Able Realty Company is having an exterior entrance sign made for new branch office locations. What information is not need to be included in the entrance sign? Branch office. But the name of the name of the company needs to be, because it's called Able Realty Company. Man. You know, sometimes I wish learning all this real estate shit was more interesting, honestly. It's just so, I guess, real estate's great. I know it's a great way to park your money, great way to invest your money. There's a lot of money to be made. But learning this freaking information for this test is, it's going to make anybody yawn. Come on. Alright, I'm going to try to get all the way to 62. F it. 52 to 62, and then we're going to call it. But it's been a great stream. If you guys are in the chat, I appreciate you guys. If you're watching this video like the next day or a week later or whatever, also, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you're new to the channel, it'd be awesome if you guys hit the subscribe button. Also, don't be shy, comment, you know? I respond to pretty much all the comments. I do. And if you've seen some of my videos in the past, comment with videos of mine that you've seen that you really enjoyed watching. You know, what summaries you've gotten great value out of. And I'm really excited to start streaming more content than just this. But I'm trying to get this broker's exam done with by the end of this month, no later than next month, so it's out of the way. And there's a lot of other great ideas I have in my Evernote a bunch of different things that I've taken over the years. And one of the notes I have is just Jim Rohn notes, because I've read a lot of his books, and I have a whole section of Evernote of all the different takeaways that I've gotten from him. So I'm thinking of one future live stream just be Jim Rohn takeaways, and I share with you all the notes I've taken over the books that I've read and the lectures of his that I've listened to, and just kind of go over them. We can chit chat back and forth about it, give my perspective, your perspective, and really extract a lot of value out of the wisdom that he's taught throughout his career. So let's do this. Let's go through questions 52 to 62, and we'll finish up the stream. Get ready for tomorrow. So let's start with 52. Let me scroll up. 52. Which statement applies to real estate offices under the Americans with Disability Act? C. Alright, so the statement that applies to the real estate offices under the Americans with Disability Act is C. The real estate office is considered to be both a commercial facility and a public accommodation, and as such, must be accessible to people with physical or mental disabilities. So, I don't know how you can accommodate somebody or accessible to someone with mental disability. I guess you just let them in. Like, I know with physical disabilities, you have to have a wheelchair, ramp, and things like that, but I don't know. It's me thinking too deep into it. Just know that the Americans with Disability Act considers real estate to be a commercial facility and a public accommodation. So I got to accommodate. I own my own brokerage. If you've got mental problems, I got you. I'm accommodating you. You've got physical problems, no problem. My brokerage, I'm accommodating you. Because according to the American Disability Act, I got you. Next question, 53. Which statement applies to a situation where a classified advertisement includes the phrase wheelchair ramp at the front entrance? Okay. D, Fair Housing Act. This is apparently the answer, so let's go through it so we can really digest this information and know it, because when I take the test, I'm going to get the answer right. Which statement applies to the situation where a classified advertisement includes the phrase wheelchair ramp at the front entrance? D, the Fair Housing Act allows advertisements to describe specific accessibility features that the property includes. Okay, next one. 54. Which statement is false concerning escrows and trust accounts? Now, do you guys know what escrow is? Do you know what a trust account is? If you do, comment it. I'm going to take a minute or two. Come on, type it in. Don't be shy. Just say, I don't know. Alright, while we're trying to figure this out, let me read what an escrow account is. So we got the information. An escrow account is an account in a bank, title company, credit union, savings association, or trust company used solely for safekeeping customers' funds and not for deposit of personal funds. The other one was called trust account. Alright, we just got trust liability there. Alright, so for 54 we got D. So FREC rules require that the word escrow or trust to appear in the name of the account. That's false. Which statement is false concerning escrow? You don't need escrow or trust to appear in the name of the account. But A, B, and C, all true. So let's go through them because they're all true regarding escrow and trust accounts. So it's important to know what they are, because on the test it could say which one of these is true regarding escrow and trust accounts, and it might be like B is there, and that's the answer. Brokers may deposit 5K personal funds, and then A, C, and D will be completely wrong. So we should know what those are. So A, B, and C are true. Escrow accounts are used to hold other people's monies, including earnest monies, deposits, advance rent, and security deposits. True regarding escrow and trust accounts. B, brokers may deposit up to $5,000 of personal funds in a property management escrow account. So that's true. So me as a broker, I got an escrow account. I could put up to $5,000 in personal funds into it. No more. Up to $5,000. C, brokers who have an interest-bearing sales escrow account and a non-interest-bearing sales escrow account may keep up to $1,000 personal funds in each account. Okay. Question 55. A prospective buyer came into the listing company's real estate office on Monday morning and left with the reception and written offer accompanied by the earnest money check to purchase a vacant lot. Which statement is true regarding this? C. So what is it true? The broker must deposit the escrow check into the escrow account no later than the end of the business on Thursday the same week. So the other ones are false. 56. Which individual is required to hold a real estate license? Okay, so which individual is required to hold a real estate license? A, an individual who negotiates long-term lease agreements for commercial property. So, an employee of a forest lawn who sells cemetery plots? No. I'm surprised that C for 56 isn't also included, because they're selling mobile home parks, but I guess they're getting a salary. Like working in resort sales, there's people that are salary as well, and they don't have a license. Alright, so 57, which statement is false regarding advertising real estate listings? So I'm going to go through B, C, and D, because those are all true concerning advertising real estate listings. So B is true, all advertising of listed property must include the name of the broker's company in the advertisement, okay? So I always have to have the name of my broker's company in the listing. C, a newspaper advertisement of listed property that includes only the address of the property and telephone number to call is a blind ad. Yes, so that is true. It's a blind ad because I gotta have my broker's name and number on that. It can't just be, the way it is. D, sales associate and their broker should review ads for accuracy and make certain the ad is canceled when, due to sale or expiration of listing, the property is no longer on the market. Okay, so that's something else that's true. But what's not true is A. The real estate team working for a licensed brokers may develop its own business cards and exclusively use the team name on its business card. So basically, the broker's name, license number, all that's got to always be present on everything, including my sales associates' business cards as well. All right, so 58 and 59. C and B. CB. Okay, so there's some math involved. Let's try and figure it out. 58. A broker's bank statement indicates an ending balance of $95,000 for the previous month. Deposits totaling $2,000 of deposits are in transit and $18,000 in checks are outstanding. What is the adjusted bank balance? I'm going to type this in because I want to learn this. Adjustable bank balance. Come on. adjusted, that's why. Adjusted bank balance. Cool. Oh, perfect. That brought me right to the page I was at. Not helping. Because 95,000 minus 18,000 would be 70. Let me see. Okay. So if you do 95,000 minus 18,000, that's 77,000 plus the 2,000, 79,000. Okay. Because that's the balance, but we got that's pending. It's 18 going out, but we got 2 going in. Where's the calculator just to verify? 95,000 minus the 18,000 that we have right here in checks with outstanding leaves us with 77, but we have deposits totaling 2,000 are in transit. So plus 2,000. Boom, 79,000. That's how we got it. Okay. All right, 3 more before the stream is up. But you guys watching, you guys are awesome. Thank you, because I know this is making me on. If you're watching this, you must love real estate, or you just want to pop in and say hello. And either one of those things are awesome reasons to watch. So 59. During the last calendar month, a broker deposited 3 earnest monies deposits check totaling 25,000. And earnest money is basically good faith deposits. The bank statement for that month reflects 2 outstanding checks totaling 5K. The balance was 0 at the beginning of the month. What is the broker's trust liability for the month? 20, because we're doing 20,000 is going in, and you got outstanding 5,000. So 25, boom, that's why. 60. So it's D. Okay, so a closing schedule for last Friday did not occur because the buyer did not show up. The broker is still holding a 5,000 earnest money deposit for the sale in the escrow account. The broker cannot locate the buyer, and the sellers made no demands regarding the good faith deposit, earnest money deposit. What should the broker do? The answer is D. Notify FREC that the broker has a good faith regarding the escrowed funds. Okay, and 61. C, D. So C and D. Alright, so we're going to go over these last 2. Last 2 questions, guys, before the end of the stream. 61. What is the maximum allowable reimbursement for the recovery fund for financial losses suffered at the result of a licensee's unlawful act? So the answer is C, $50,000 per transaction, and up to a maximum of $150,000 for multiple transactions. So that is, the question again is, what is the maximum allowable reimbursement from a recovery fund for financial losses suffered at the result of licensee's unlawful act? $50,000 and $150,000 for multiple transactions. 62. Last one. The broker complied with an escrow distribution order, the EDO, but was sued by the seller. The seller was awarded a judgment against the broker. The seller has made a claim against the recovery fund. Which statement is true regarding the real estate recovery fund? So A, B, and C are all false. True is the commission will take no action against the broker's license as a result of the claim against the recovery fund. So the commission will take no action against the broker's license as a result of the claim against the recovery fund. Because the broker complied with the escrow distribution order, but was sued by the seller. The seller was awarded a judgment against the broker. The seller has made a claim against the recovery fund. Okay, because basically the seller had a claim against the recovery fund, not a claim against the broker. Or if they had a claim against the broker, it would be different. But I'm going to look up this real quick. Escrow distribution order, the EDO. See if that's over here. We can learn about this a little bit. So the EDO is the escrow distribution order. The broker may request that the commission issue an escrow distribution order, a determination of who is entitled to the disputed funds. Cool. Alright, so we got 62 questions out of 100 done on this stream. Am I ready to take this test? No. Will I be ready to take the test? Yes. When? As soon as possible. Hopefully by the end of this month I'll pass the test. I have to wait till next week until I could schedule my state test, because I submitted the application in the end of August, and you have to wait 7 to 10 days with the DBPR, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. So I called them today and they said it's been 7 days and I have to give them up to 10 days, if not call them back to figure that out. So, but this has been a pretty awesome stream. Thank you guys for popping in, those that said hello. If you are a subscriber, I thank you so much for supporting the channel. I intend to put more and more content out on this channel, live streams like this, as well as some other ideas, because just studying for this is going to be boring. I'm already bored of it, and I can't wait to get it done and pass it. And I'm looking forward to coming up with other different ideas for streaming, ones that are more interactive with you guys, and obviously more valuable for you guys. I also started streaming on Twitch. I do some gaming content, because gaming is one of my favorite ways to hang out with my friends, and it's one of my favorite ways of having fun. So if you head on over to Twitch, I've been streaming Trident_Lion. I want to get just Trident Lion as one name, but right now that's what's available. So Trident_Lion. I've streamed recently a lot of COD, because that's what a lot of my friends are on, but also like Sea of Thieves. And I actually intend on, once I get this broker's license, maybe even before then, streaming the gaming content on this channel as well. I'm not going to put any videos or clips of the gaming streams on this channel, because I'm going to keep this more business, personal development, more content like that. But I'm going to have another YouTube channel which is going to have all the clips from my gaming streams. But I can always connect the live stream onto this too, this channel, because a new YouTube channel won't allow me to live stream, but this one does allow me to. And that way you guys can, another way of hanging out, get to know me, see a different side of me. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you so much for hanging out on the stream. And until the next stream, remember, always be learning, always be creating, and